Hello everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope we're doing well, and today we're going to be talking about some pretty cool, interesting news in the wake of the finale of Season 2 of The Mandalorian, and I just want to warn that there are possibly going to be spoilers in this if you have not yet seen that episode, though of course I imagine if you really care about spoilers, you are staying off of the internet and off of social media especially, because come on now, you honestly know that no one can keep from spoiling anything, even if people who don't give warnings like I'm just doing right now. So what are you doing? Get out of here if you are trying to avoid spoilers. But if you're not, thank you for watching. Please be sure to smash that like button, smash the rumble button as well. It does really help out a lot. And please consider to share this video with those that you think might find this content interesting or entertaining. And of course, also check out links to find me on social media and find out ways to support this platform. All right, so as you can see from here from Deadline, the Book of Boba Fett. So the very end of The Mandalorian, if you waited until after the credits, in a very Marvel-esque fashion, there was a post-credit scene in which Boba Fett and one of the other characters, I always forget it, Fennec, basically went with him to old Jabba the Hutt's palace and went in there, totally destroyed everyone in there. Obviously, you had Bib Fortuna, who is now sitting on the throne, had taken over control of Jabba's palace, of Jabba's operation. He was looking swole as hell and not in the best way possible, and the only thing missing was a little bit of Salacious Crumb, but again, we take what we can get, and of course, we have the death of Bib Fortuna officially now, and we had an announcement at the very end. He sits on the throne, it pans out in a pretty cool fashion, a pretty cool shot, and then what comes on the screen? The Book of Boba Fett, launching December 2021. Now, there was a lot of speculation, including from me, myself, during my review of The Mandalorian, which is probably one of my most disliked videos to this day. If you want to see why, go check it out and smash that like button, because some people don't like the fact that I have an opinion that is not of the general populace and general population, even within Phantom Menace circles. But with that being said, this was something that was announced, and I thought, okay, this to me seems like, oh, that's actually a very clever way to continue on the Mandalorian story, because I figured, okay, it's kind of like a book, right? You have these different chapters, and so they're closing the book on the Mandalorian, and now they're opening up a new book called the Book of Boba Fett, and they'll start over with Chapter 1, but it'll still be within this Mandalorian universe, and will still deal with, obviously, deal with the Mando, deal with baby Yoda and all that other stuff. And that's what I thought was going to happen. Well, apparently, it has now been confirmed that there are going to be two different series. And from what I think I can remember, I believe The Mandalorian Season 3 is expected to come out next year, at the end of next year. And so now we're going to have two shows, potentially, that are going to be competing against each other on the same network. Maybe they'll do it where one week it's the Book of Boba Fett, another week it is The Mandalorian. Maybe they exist in the same universe to the point where both of them continue the stories in different fashions. That can actually be a kind of cool way to approach it, because then it'll keep everyone tuned in every single week. You can then extend it out beyond just 8 weeks, because you'll have two different shows with, I imagine, both having 8 episodes in a season, and it actually could be an interesting way of telling these stories, where you're telling it from two different parts of the universe, focusing on different characters, but still existing within the same timeline, which could be interesting, to say the least. So let's dive into this article here from Deadline, giving us more of the information here. It says, Deadline heard there was going to be a Boba Fett Disney Plus spin-off series, but Lucasfilm left it off of the lineup of Star Wars shows that it revealed last week in its sprawling Disney Investor Day. However, at the end of the post-credit sequences in the Season 2 finale of The Mandalorian that dropped last night, it was confirmed that the Book of Boba Fett is happening December of 2021. If you played past the credit sequence in The Mandalorian fight, we see return of Jedi character Bib Fortuna, Jabba's old right-hand man sitting on his throne in the old palace. Fennec Ming-Na Wen enters, shooting most of the creatures around him and blasting the shackles off of a blue dancing girl. Then Boba enters. Bib exclaims, "Boba, I thought you were dead," and Boba then shoots him dead and takes the throne at Jabba's palace. Also, they're leaving out the most important line ever in the fact that we hear McClunky. That's right, McClunky has made a return. And apparently in Huttese it means I'm going to kill you or kill him now or something to that effect. But McClunky can indeed be heard, and I believe it was Bib Fortuna the one who actually said it. Last week, Kareem Daniel, a chairman of media and entertainment distribution at Disney, said that Disney Plus would launch roughly 10 Marvel series, 10 Star Wars series, and 15 live-action, animation, and Pixar series over the next few years. The reveal included a pair of new Star Wars spin-offs, The Rangers of the New Republic and Ahsoka Tano, the latter based on the famed Clone Wars cartoon character brought to life by Rosario Dawson in the past season of The Mandalorian. And so obviously it's interesting that one appearance in a Mandalorian episode is going to launch a brand new show. Obviously, Ahsoka Tano has a lot of popularity, especially among people that are fans of shows like the Clone Wars, or even going into Rebels a little bit too. And the Rangers of the New Republic is the one that I'm actually most excited about, if it lives up to the potential of what I think it can and should be, which would be if it's Gina Carano's show, if she's the lead in that show, and if they're somehow able to get her and Bill Burr on screen together and them be the dynamic duo, that could be fantastic. Her, of course, playing that straight character, right, the very serious, badass character, Bill Burr playing the very skilled, but still also comedic relief character. I think they could bounce off of each other pretty well. But as you can see, Deadline is indeed reporting that it is now its own separate spin-off series. But as I mentioned, this does seem to raise a lot of questions as to whether or not we're going to have, or what the schedule is actually going to look like when this Book of Boba Fett comes out, and when Mandalorian Season 3 comes out as well. And so all this is to say, there's a lot of interesting stuff going on here. Obviously, I am not a big fan of that last episode of The Mandalorian, because I just really honestly think that the CGI they used at the end, again, this is spoilers, that the CGI they used for Luke's face just did not look very good. I feel like it would have been better for them to have just alluded to it being Luke, to not show his full face, maybe just to show his chin. I think it would have looked a little bit better. Obviously, the ideal scenario would have been them to actually bring back Mark Hamill, do not motion capture, but bring Mark Hamill in, actually do de-aging like they've done in films like Ant-Man. Again, Peyton Reed, the director of this episode, has done this technology and used this technology before, all under the Disney umbrella, so they would have had access to it. And for anyone saying, oh, it would be because of cost concerns, they have no desire to cut costs on this show, because they're already spending millions upon millions of dollars in this show in the first place. And so to me, it was that they were lazy. They wanted to create a video game-like looking Mark Hamill, and they wanted it to be a kind of payoff to fans. And again, I understand and respect anyone who's been very excited by this appearance of Mark Hamill in this capacity, and having Luke Skywalker back in the screen. It's hard for me to get excited for that, only because I know that as of right now, this still exists within the Disney sequel trilogy universe, which means that that character still becomes Jake Skywalker. And until that is actually done away with, which it has not yet been done away with at this point, that leaves me from being excited. And I think, as I said before, the CGI, because I'm a big stickler for it, really just took me out of the scene and made it very hard for me to really be able to appreciate it for what it was. Also, I think the more that people sit on this episode and look at the other things, especially other aspects of the writing, the fact that you have Sasha Banks' character completely kicking Boba Fett's ass, and again, really no sensible reason as to how that happens. Like, there's one point where literally they're in a tug of war, and Sasha Banks' character is literally pulling him along, and I'm like, whoa, she's not even using technology here. We're supposed to believe that she's stronger. It's one thing if Gina Carano, who looks like she can kick anyone's ass, is doing it. It's another when little skinny little itty bitty Sasha Banks is doing it, and there's no technology actually helping her out in the process. That is just illogical, and it's hard for me to really put myself outside of the fact that this is a show, that this is a fictional universe, when things don't make sense within the universe that's being built. But getting back to the main story at hand, I think that this could be a good series, and if they do what I think, which is if they go back and forth with it, 1 week Boba Fett, 1 week Mandalorian, and have them both lead up to a kind of like a dual finale, where one finale is done on the Mandalorian and another finale is done on Boba Fett, or you could do half of the finale, like a part 1 is on one show, part 2 is on the other, and they're both at that point at the end of their season interconnected. And that could also be something that actually works out pretty well. We've seen other shows with spin-offs do something similar, where every now and then the shows will like cross over. Obviously, the biggest one that happened most recently would have been the Infinite Universe, or I'm trying to think of the Infinite Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline that took place on the CW. Unfortunately, of course, that's DC CW, and really more so CW, just destroying everything going on with DC's universe and everything they've done with it. But this, I think, could actually be good, because as I said, Mandalorian so far has been pretty good. Again, I think season 1 was pretty good. This season was better, and they had more stronger episodes. I just wish the finale would have been stronger too. Like, the finale of season 1 was so good. The finale of this one, I was kind of let down by that last sequence of events, just because of all the implications of what it means. And I think that the end credit sequence was actually the best part of the show, because it's set up for something that could be really cool. But anyway, those are just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Are you excited for the Book of Boba Fett? Do you think that they're going to do something like I said, like going back and forth each and every week? If indeed Mandalorian does come out December of 2021, again, obviously with COVID and everything, they could delay Mandalorian Season 3 past the point and not be able to do this. But what are your thoughts on that? And even just by itself, do you think the Book of Boba Fett will be good? Again, I think that having Boba Fett brought back in this season was pretty awesome. Him getting his armor back was pretty badass too. And I think that him and the chemistry between him and the character of Fennec is actually really, really awesome. And I really do like the acting being done by that character, by Ming-Na Wen. I really do think that she plays a really good badass, and the fact that she's not stronger than anyone else, but that she's got very good accuracy with her weapon, I really think makes her character more believable and more compelling in the process. But let me know your thoughts about all this stuff in the comments section below. If you like this video, smash the like button or smash the rumble button. It really does help out a lot with algorithms and stuff like that, so I would appreciate it. You guys are all amazing and beautiful people. Have a wonderful day, everybody. And just as a reminder, no live stream tonight. Most likely no live stream next Saturday either, because I've got family coming in both weekends, and obviously next weekend, of course, is Christmas weekend too. And so just keep that in mind as we go through the week. My plan is to have my normal Tuesday stream still going as planned, and an additional Monday stream where it will be my Chosen of Valhalla stream. I'm still waiting to get back all the people that are the Chosen, trying to make sure it works for everybody. And so obviously that is going to be likely the case, 7 p.m. Eastern time for both of those streams though. And I will keep y'all posted on social media. So if you want to make sure that you are kept up to date with everything, make sure you follow me, especially on Twitter, on Parler, and also, of course, if you're in the Discord server, I try and update those 3 locations, and of course also the YouTube community tab. You're awesome. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge shout out to all of my December Patreon and Subscribe Star members, starting off with Patreon Albertus Magnus, Andrew Hoyle, Animation Commentator Brian P., Dion, Divex, Enrique Evangelista, Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, Father, Father Damian Cook, Garrett Searles, Harold Francis, The Hunky Chunky Funky Monkey, Inflamed Wood, It's a Trap Productions, Jason Clark, Jacob Juice, Jeffrey Toon, Jonathan Carney, Kenneth Camille, Laura Story, Mad Mitch Dunaway, Mike Jackson, Mr. Peabody and his evil twin with the beautiful hair, On to June, Orange Hat Reviews, Out of Step with Reality, Outpost Dyer, Riff Magos, Rosetta Allen, Steve Glasker, Miss Martin Muses, also known as Teresa Martin, Theodore Bendon, Tina Bogend, Tina B, and the Modern Major General, Laura Story. Gotta give you that shout out for that one time that you were doubled up. Thank you very much for being my Patreon members. And now a huge shout out to all of my December Subscribe Star members we have over there with Stand For, Perpetual Punster, Robert Revo, Mr. Roy, Glinzer, Darkstar 57, J. Alex McCarthy Jr., US 888209 Fast, Dean Heiss, J-Rod the Beer Guru, Nevadon G. Adams, and ZK Man. Thank you all so much for being my Patreon and Subscribe Star members. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream on the main channel, please consider joining over on those platforms. You can also get access to things like exclusive giveaways of 4Ks, Blu-rays. If you want a DVD, I guess you could also get a DVD as well, digital codes, and of course, you get to possibly join me on the channel once a month for the Chosen of Valhalla live stream and access to an exclusive podcast featuring John the Flick Pick Flickinger, where we have a lot of fun talking about movies and tons of other random things. Anyway, if you want to support these things, check out the links in the description of this video. And also, please consider joining my other channel, the OMB Report, where I talk about not just movies like I do over here, but I focus more so on politics, news, and culture in that order. You guys are all amazing. Thank you for your love and support. Have a wonderful day. And as always, God bless.